Good evening, my friends. It is Thursday and I thought I would catch up with you so we could have a bit of a chat about what I've been reading this week. I have a few finishes to show you. So it is the 6th of May now and I have got 5 books to talk about today. So let's jump right in. The first one I want to talk about is actually an audiobook that I was listening to while I was commuting, and it's called Where the Forest, I'm looking on my iPad, Where the Forest Meets the Stars by Glendy Vanderer. And I really enjoyed this one. It was, a really nice book. I was interested the whole way through. It's about a uni student who has gone to a cabin in the woods to do some research on nesting birds in the area. And after a day of work, she has gone back to her little cabin in the woods. A little girl turns up and she says she is an alien from a far-off galaxy. And so it sounds bizarre, but it was a really good book. Even though it sounds weird, it still rates pretty highly with me. I don't actually enjoy books about aliens, but I love this book. I'm not going to give anything away, but it's worth listening to or worth having a bit of a read because, I just really enjoyed that one. The next one was with my online book club. We did Circe, and this was, a really enjoyable book. I would say that you don't particularly have to have a lot of knowledge about mythology to read this book. So it was a good book. It was a nice read. I wouldn't rate it as one of my top reads, but it was, I still enjoyed it. So that was another finish. Then I went to a book sale. And it was like a Rotary Club charity secondhand book sale. And I bought a phenomenal amount of books, like so many books. I bought a lot of books. And one of them that I found that was just sitting in the children's section that I picked up is the first book in a series of unfortunate events. And it was a good read. It literally only took me, I think, an hour to read it. Definitely be putting this in my son's bookshelf because he will enjoy this book as well. So that was a bit of a win. Then I have a non-fiction. This is Women Don't Owe You Pretty by Florence Given. And this was another fairly quick read. So the actual book itself isn't super word heavy. There's some really cool illustrations and like little poster pages in this book. And it's just a book, I guess, giving permission to women to just be themselves. And I think that this would be a great book for probably women that are a lot younger than I am because I think all these lessons over the years I've learned anyway. But definitely sort of late teenager to early adult. I really think that this would be a great book for women of that age group. Don't get me wrong, I still got quite a bit out of it, but I also felt a little bit like it was written very, what's the right way to say it? It was just like reading a lot of Instagram posts a lot of the time, but the message is there and the message is good. So yes, I would say this is probably more for a younger demographic, but very strong message about we don't have to actually owe anyone pretty. We can just wear no makeup on a YouTube channel and be okay with it, and I am. So that was another finish. Then my first book from my May prompts. So I have now crossed one off the list, and this was Night Music by Jojo Moyes. This is one of her earlier novels. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I actually was thinking it was going to be very much a romance type novel, but it was just a story of families finding their feet, I guess, after tragedy, and I really enjoyed it. It was great. Yeah, I would rate that quite highly. I think at least 3.5 stars, if not, yeah, I would say at least 3.5, maybe even almost a 4. It was well written, and the characters were believable, and it wasn't too fluffy. So yeah, I enjoyed that one. And then that brings me, so that's what I've read so far. Now, I have started book 2 on my prompts, and that is A Handmaid's Tale. Now, I didn't realize when I was watching like all the clips and stuff of A Handmaid's Tale on like Netflix and things. I haven't watched the series, but I have watched like, you know, trailer type stuff. But I didn't realize that this is actually, it's not a historical thing. It's not set in the past as such. It's yeah, like a whole different world almost. So yeah, it took me a second to kind of work it out, because there was talk straight away about things that very obviously wouldn't have been in the past. So I'm only just 30 pages into this, but enjoying it so far, and I think this is going to be worth the hype. I do believe it will be worth the hype. So that is one that I'm currently reading. The other one I'm slowly knocking away at is book 2 in this series, and it's A Court of Mist and Fury. I started reading this right after I finished Circe, and I think it was just too much fantasy for me, straight up. So I had to put this aside for a bit and read something else. But now I've come back to it and I'm enjoying it again. So I've got that one on the go. And then, oh my gosh, wait till you see this one. So with my online book club, we are being incredibly brave, like incredibly brave. And we are tackling together War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy. Now, I have started this already, and I've got some markers into where I'm reading up to each of my little sprints that I'm doing. And I have got my first annotation. It is going to be a slow read, like a very slow read. So in the book, let's see if I can find you an example. So in the book, there's a lot of translations down the bottom of things that are written in French. And then throughout it too, there are also numbered appendices that we can go to the back and actually learn about the history of what's happening, so that we know what's going on, know a bit more about the context in which it's written, because I don't actually know a lot of sort of Russian history. So that I'm finding really helpful. But it also means that it's taking me quite a while to get through each page. So often I'm like reading 2 pages and it's taking me like a full 5 minutes to read 2 pages, which is a long time. I think it's going to be a very I guess, strenuous read. And is that the right word? It's not really strenuous because I'm still enjoying it. But it's like a marathon. It's going to be a marathon. I'm going to try to keep my pace. It's helpful that we're doing this with a group of us, because I would worry if I was doing this on my own that it would very quickly get put aside for quicker reads. But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. Like what am I up to? So I'm not very far in. In fact, I'm only 35 pages in, but it feels like I've been reading it for a while. And can we just take a minute to appreciate how pretty that cover is? Isn't it lovely? It's so pretty. And even on the inside, the end papers are really pretty. So yeah, I'm enjoying this so far, and I hope I continue to enjoy it. It's going to be something that you'll see in a few videos, I think. I think it's going to take me a while to knock this one over. It is a hefty tome, this one. My goodness. So that's where I'm at the moment, and I am going to now settle down into my comfy chair and do a little bit of reading before bed. Tomorrow is Friday. That's always a nice feeling because we are getting closer to the weekend. It's been a big week, a very big week. My youngest had a birthday this week. He also had a suspected fractured collarbone this week. Oh, it's all been happening in our house. My goodness, you have no idea. So I'm looking forward to the weekend. We do have, he's got a little friend sleeping over tomorrow night. So I'm sure there'll be lots of giggling going on in the background tomorrow night while I'm trying to do some reading. But they'll have fun doing that. And then, yeah, a bit of work on Saturday, and yeah, a nice restful Sunday to look forward to. So let's snuggle down and do a bit of reading and then go to bed, I think.